Karen Voight is an internationally renowned fitness expert and Los Angeles Times health columnist. Karen spent more than a decade setting fitness industry standards for people of all ages and fitness levels. Widely considered one of fitness's brightest innovators, Karen has designed cutting-edge workouts for her wide variety of fitness DVDs. Karen also personally trained Hollywood celebs such as Tina Turner and Bette Midler, co-starred in Your Personal Best with Elle Macpherson, and consulted with Paula Abdul. Karen was named IGF Fitness Instructor of the Year. Thank you for being here today. Here's my interview with Karen. Okay, Karen, let's get right into it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
What would you say are the parallels between health, fitness, success, and success in other parts of your life?
Well, in fitness, you learn discipline, you learn follow through, and a certain amount of patience, and stick to it. You know, having to stick to it, and just day after day, just keep on a single focus. And I think those are all aspects that you can take into your everyday life, and it will help you. Discipline is definitely a plus. And a lot of people are disciplined, but they get impatient or they get discouraged quickly. So the follow through of having to, do it day in and day out and not give up, I think is a really good quality to develop in any aspect of your life.
Oh, absolutely. So dedication, consistency, and staying the course of whatever goals that you set. And do you care to share any examples of what you've achieved in fitness and how that's carried over into your personal life?
Well, being disciplined about what I eat and about getting enough sleep and not going out too late and trying to push your body too hard. I think all of those things that I learned from fitness have definitely helped in my other parts of life. I also think that flexibility and being adaptable, in just your exercise plan, I think that continues to be very helpful in work, so that you don't get stuck on something. If you find, okay, well, you can't do one type of workout because it's raining, or you planned on doing a hike and it didn't work out, you just come up with another plan and get into it and kind of fall in love with the new thing. And I think that's a big aspect of success in any field.
Wonderful. So it's just having the discipline and not getting discouraged if things don't go with one plan. You just move on to the next plan and just stay focused, and that carries over into your personal life as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well, I want you to help some of our viewers and our audience, and just let me know, what do you think is one of the biggest mental and emotional mistakes that people make that leads to failure in reaching their health and fitness goals as they age?
I think impatience and getting discouraged because the body doesn't do it as quickly as it used to. I find that it bothers a lot of people when they used to be fit when they're 25 years old, and all of a sudden, now they're trying to do the same thing with their body, and they find out, well, they don't recover as quickly, they might get injured, or they don't heal as quickly. That gets to be a little depressing. But I feel like, well, if you were able to push your body pretty hard when you were younger, and you still are, in the game, and you're still working out and still staying fit, I think you should be happy with that. And, give your body a little bit of a chance. Like if you're not feeling that great to do a hard workout tomorrow morning, then stick with a lighter workout, but at least do something and don't just give up because, okay, I can't do what I used to do when I was 25 years old. I find that, I have heavy days and light days, and I sort of wake up, and if I feel like, okay, I have a lot of energy today and I want to do a heavy workout, then I go with that. But some days I plan to do a heavy workout, but then it's like I don't really feel like it. So I just will stick with something a little lighter, like maybe body sculpting, or maybe some yoga, or some floor exercises, and not go heavy on the weights, or not go heavy on the cardio. Just
Right.
because I find that if you push yourself too hard, one, you might get discouraged because your body hurts too much and
Right.
your joints start to give out. And the other is that I don't think the body is capable of doing year after year, decade after decade, the same workout. I think you have to really look around for ways to change your workout so your body gets a whole different type of thing. You can still be fit and you can still feel healthy. It's just that you know, like I don't do the kind of cardio, hard cardio like I used to do. And I feel fine. I actually, you know, feel better from it because if I were to do that, my knees, my ankles, my back would start to bug me from pushing it too hard.
Right. So you have to listen to your body. And if you have a plan to really go hard and your body's not feeling up to it, it's always a huge mistake to push yourself at that point.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be a bad mistake to stay in bed and wake up and have donuts and coffee in the morning.
Oh, absolutely.
So there's a fine line between, okay, I don't really feel like doing the type of workout that I planned, but I'm still going to do something and I'm still going to put my whole heart into whatever I do choose to do. And then the other thing I find is that for myself, if I do like a workout in the morning and a workout in the evening, I still get a good strong workout in throughout the day, but it's not like 3 hours of intense workout all at one time. So I find that spreading it out and doing it more frequently, but with less intensity works for me anyway.
Right. So there's absolutely no need for anybody, like we're all busy people. Not everybody's a fitness instructor. Some of the people in our audience might not even be exercising at all. So the idea of doing 3 hours is so unnecessary. I would say just get started. And how should you fight back if you're feeling resistance about exercising because you can't do what you used to be able to do and you're not being reasonable with yourself? Like, how can people fight back and find the inner motivation as they age to be fit, fabulous, and fierce?
Well, if your exercise program gives you energy, when you get done, you feel more energized and more vivacious and more enthusiastic about your day, then I think you're doing the right thing. If you feel drained, if you feel like exhausted and you feel tired, then you're pushing yourself too hard. So I think that's a good gauge to go by. I also think if you really are careful about what you put into your body, what kind of food you have, not drink too much alcohol, and also sleep. Those are the key things in my life. I find that as long as I get enough sleep and as long as I eat the right food, it doesn't have to be, you know, a strict diet, but at the same time, you know, it has to be a lot of green vegetables and a little light protein and not too many carbs and not too many sweets. If I stick with that diet, I pretty much can do my workouts without feeling like it's drudgery. And if that still doesn't work, you know, just getting a workout buddy is always a good thing to do. Or, you know, I have dogs, so I walk my dogs a lot, and I find that that kind of energizes me especially first thing in the morning to get going.
The dogs are like personal trainers. They make you go out there and walk. And I love that you touched upon diet, because I think it's like we're never going to get anywhere with fitness unless we get into eating healthy, getting lots of protein and vegetables, cutting down on the carbs, cutting down on the sugar. Especially sometimes people think they're like dogs and they come home and they had a hard day and a hard workout and they get a treat. So then sometimes their treats are like negating all the positive things that they did in the workout. So it's like a math equation as far as I'm concerned. It's like calories in, calories out. Yeah. Just because you worked out, it's no longer an excuse to sit there and drink 2 bottles of wine, an entire pizza.
Yeah, totally. And if I find that I have, you know, I'll have a glass of wine in the evening. I like that with dinner. But if I get into 2 glasses of wine and then sweets, the next day it's like, oh my gosh, I don't feel like working out. And that becomes a syndrome. So
Absolutely.
I find that, you know, just sticking to a good plan doesn't mean that you can't go out to have a party or to go out and have something that you enjoy eating. Right. But just get back on your plan as soon as possible and not spend too many days away from some type of workout. I find that if I just do something physical every single day, whether it be walking the dogs or whether it be swimming or whether it be teaching my classes or lifting some weights, anything that feels right to the body, if I do that every single day, even if I'm like on a trip and it's just like, let's just take a long walk around the city, spend 20 minutes to maybe a half hour just brisk walking. Right. I feel great. And then I end up eating better food. So
absolutely. So just trying to be active every day, because once you start skipping one day, then you can
It's
skip
easy.
more days and it becomes a trend and a pattern. And we don't want to encourage anybody to do that. So
Yeah,
this,
especially as we get older, I think it's more important to be physical every single day, not in a high intensity. It's just I kind of follow that thing: more frequent, less intense,
right,
and
that makes
maybe
sense.
yeah, and maybe even longer duration. In other
Right.
words, instead of like a hard 1 hour cardio section, maybe it's an hour and a half workout with some stretching, some body sculpting, and a little bit of cardio. And that, in a way, for me, it seems to be a better plan. It feels
Right.
like I can do it and it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, so mixing it up is so important. And I think those days when you used to see everybody leaning on the Stairmaster, reading the newspaper, on the elliptical, reading something, I feel like if you're just going to be on there doing cardio, it's not intense. You're not really getting anything done. It's much better to mix it up so you have your yoga, you have your stretching, you have your strength training, and your cardio. So it's the nutrition, drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, and just having a healthy lifestyle and committing to the healthy lifestyle, I think, and mixing it up with the workout.
And having a really good attitude. Like TED Talks are really good. Always feed your mind
Oh,
with
absolutely.
positive stuff because as we age, little things, start to bug you. Like like I'll have a neck issue and I'm thinking, why doesn't it just go away by
Right.
itself? Okay, well, it could be something that I did the day before, and so I have to live with. So, cutting yourself a break and giving yourself a little bit of time to just have some downtime and just relaxing. Sometimes that seems to feed you the energy that it takes to just deal with aging.
Oh, yeah, the
Because
mental
that,
attitude, I think, is everything. I think if you just set 2 minutes aside every day and focus on your goals, set your attitude, then if somebody cuts you off in traffic, we live in
yeah,
Los Angeles and we have to deal with like everyone's on the phone, texting and whatever, doing their makeup, eating their lunch, and it's like you can't let those little things set you off. Like if you work out and you set your attitude in the morning, I think that makes such a huge difference.
yeah. And, having some time to yourself every single morning is a really good way
Absolutely.
to set it up. Like, okay, make a plan about, okay, well, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to spend at least an hour doing some kind of exercise, and then I'm
Right.
going to get some paperwork done, and I'm going to, yeah, you just sort of, I find that if you can just start your day out with a plan, it
Right.
seems to go a lot better than if you just jump out of bed and start jumping into things and being so chaotic and, unrealistic about what you want to accomplish.
So write
As
it
we
down,
age,
like set your goals, write it down, have some quiet time in the morning so that you're not just haphazardly going throughout the day, but you sort of have a master plan of things that you want to feel good about accomplishing.
yeah, yeah, I think so.
Okay, good. So in your opinion, Karen, what is the difference between being fit at 20 and being fit at 50? And how can we adjust our exercise and diet as we age?
Well, I always tell my students that the job as we age is to try to preserve your joints,
Right.
protect your back, and
Absolutely.
then be tough on the muscles.
Right.
So all of my exercise programming, when I teach classes or when I do it myself, it's always about, I want to train the muscles. I want to keep the muscles strong
Right.
and flexible, but I don't want to grind my joints. I don't want to put too much pressure. So I've cut out a lot of the impact type of
Right.
movement. I try to do full range of motion, full stretching, and a lot of core work. I find that core strengthening, midsection, back, and buttocks. If you can keep that area really strong and
Yeah.
balanced and stable, it prevents a lot of injuries. And I think that with as we age, the difference between a 20-year-old and maybe a 50-year-old is that when you're 20, you can pretty much get away with maybe abusing yourself even to the point
Right.
where, but you kind of bounce back, and there's lots of you can your body still can compensate for injuries. As we get older, we run out of ways to compensate. So now you have to address the issues and maybe learn to break some bad patterning. Like for a little while, I was walking a little crooked on my foot, and I had to spend a good couple months reteaching my body how to land or how to place my foot properly so that I wasn't creating knee injuries and hip injuries and back injuries and neck injuries, because it
Right.
travels up, and
Oh,
it starts with the feet.
absolutely. So having the
So,
proper footwear, having the right exercise design, and then
yeah,
how
and
much
just
is
learning a little bit more about how the body should be. And if you
right,
feel an injury, if you feel something bothering you,
right,
if you're 20 years old and something, you got hurt and something, so a week later you feel better. You just take it easy for a week and pretty much it heals itself, it seems like. Well, as we age, I mean, when I turned 50, it was like, wait, things aren't healing as quickly as before. I had to pay attention to them. I had
right.
to start to learn, well, what am I doing that's making my back feel weird? And what am I doing to this hip that, why does this hip hurt more than that hip? And, and start learning a little bit. So I don't think that our fitness knowledge should stay stagnant. I think that you have to develop it as you go along in life
So
and be
the
very
exercise and
adaptable.
diet is progressing as you're aging so that it's suitable and you're listening to your body, and the old adage of no pain, no gain is absolute crap.
Yeah, I don't go with that. I really feel like if there's something painful, I want to pay attention to it because I don't want it to get worse. And also, if something bothers you, I think that, like they say, if after the age of 40, if something bothers you for more than 2 weeks, start paying attention to it. And
Right.
like go
Oh,
to the
yeah.
doctor or go to a PT or go to a trainer, find out what's happening because that could become a chronic problem. And I find if you can manage your pain, even if it's something bothers you, like, okay, I have a chronic neck ache, for instance.
Right.
Okay, but if you know how to manage it and it's like, okay, my neck is acting up, so I know what I have to do to make that thing go
Absolutely.
away.
We all
That's
deal
so
with that.
liberating.
Everybody that I know after a certain age, like that is the one difference is like there's always something that's
Yeah,
hurting.
yeah. Oh, always. There's something little things come up, but if you adjust and if you pay attention to it and start to learn what it is that you're doing, what body patterning or what movement pattern you're doing that's creating that problem, and you can manage it with just exercises that you've learned doing it at home, against a wall or whatever. There's lots of stuff on the web. There's so much information about how to prevent injuries and how to deal with certain injuries and what exercises to use.
Yeah.
Like if your shoulder hurts, you learn how to work your rotator cuff. If your
Right.
hip is tight, then you learn stretches for it. Range of motion for your calves and ankles. All of that stuff is really good to know as you get
Oh,
older
I
because
I love
it's
all
going to
that.
mean something.
And also the foam roller. I'm so into the
Yeah.
foam roller.
And also how you sit, even to watch TV or sit at the
Oh,
computer.
absolutely.
I think good posture is huge as we age
It's so huge.
because slouching or just getting into bad habits. Again, you can do it when you're a kid, but as you get older, those little bad habits come back to haunt you later on. Even how you sleep and your pillow.
Oh,
Those are
yeah.
little things that, you don't really think about, but once you straighten them out, it can make a huge difference in the quality of your life during the day.
Oh, absolutely. I think it comes back to that core strength. Like if you have the core strength and you have those little mental notes to pull your shoulders back and lift your chest up, I'm constantly reminding people of those things as a trainer. And then it seems like once you have the core strength, it really helps a lot with just sitting up properly. And when you
Hmm.
catch yourself slouching, you can always fix it. So, Karen, let me ask you, what simple diet and exercise tweaks can we do as we age to be fit, fabulous, and fierce over 40?
Well, one of the gyms that I teach at, what they do is they put lemon and cucumber in the water that they just have these water jugs all over the gym.
Hmm.
And I find that I drink so much more water there than at home because I don't know, for some reason when slices of lemon are in the
Oh,
water
I
and
love it. The
cucumber,
spa water. It's so good.
yeah, it's like I find that drinking a lot more water helps a whole lot because it just keeps all your joints hydrated and you're instead of getting okay, I'm thirsty, and so I'm going to have a soda, or I'm going to have, some sweet drink or a smoothie or a cup of coffee or an iced coffee. I think drinking water is key to just keep flushing your body and keep it
Oh,
healthy.
I
I
agree.
think another diet tip would be, well, a lot of green vegetables. I eat a lot of leafy green
Hmm.
vegetables, kale, collard greens, even broccoli and spinach, and I eat that as much as I can. I've cut down a little bit on the protein because I don't do as much cardio, so I just feel like I don't need to, have as much protein in my body to push through those long hours. Um, what else? Fruit instead of desserts. I
Right.
try to cut down
That's
way
a good
down.
one.
When I was exercising a lot when I was in my 20s, I could eat any amount of dessert I wanted. But now
Right.
I've cut down on the amount of sugar. And let's see what else. Like my trick is that instead of eating crackers and chips and potato chips and French fries and all that kind of stuff, if I feel like that, I just have a baked potato because for some reason that makes me feel like satisfied with the carb, category,
Right.
and it's not like junk.
Right.
So I find if you listen to your body and you see, okay, I feel like eating this type of food, well, find a like an alternative that
Right.
satisfies the sweet tooth, but at the same time, or satisfies the salt tooth, or whatever, and make yourself feel like you're not depriving yourself of the food you want, but at the same
Right.
time, find a healthy alternative.
So healthy switches. And I want you to tell us a little bit about your workout programs because some of the people in our audience maybe don't have access to a gym. Can they work out like right in their living room?
Yeah. I mean, all my videotapes are all about working out at home, and it doesn't take, when I make them up, I keep myself in a very small part of the room so that
Right.
I know that it's not like you're going to have to travel a lot or move around a lot. Very little impact, so it's not going to make a lot of noise. So working out at home to videos is obviously a great choice because there's a beginning and end, and you can stay focused for that amount of time. You don't have to like think of your own exercises and then get distracted and then like answer the phone or do so you kind of like, okay, I got to stick with this thing just like a class.
Right.
I think having weights around the house just to do
Oh,
little
yeah.
exercises,
That's wonderful.
and kitchen countertops I find are great as to use as like a ballet bar when you're waiting for something to
Oh, the
boil, or when you're
stretch. I
waiting.
love
You have to,
doing that.
yeah, you have to stay. So you have to stay in the kitchen because of the fact that you have to wait till this thing is cooking. But instead of just standing there, I always like move around and stretch or do some. So I use the kitchen counter as a ballet bar. Um, so those are little ideas, I think.
Well, thank you. Thanks so much, Karen. I can definitely see why Glamour called you a powerhouse in the fitness industry and Shape Magazine too, and one of the top 10 most outstanding working women in America because you have this powerhouse of a volume of your work. And where can we find those videotapes?
Well, everything's on my website at www.karenvoight.com.
Okay.
And I am looking right now. There are DVDs, and believe it or not, some people still want VHS, so I have a few left of those. And I'm looking into downloading them so that people can stream. And then I'm also I'm getting an itch to start some new choreography and some new you know uh, new exercise routines. So
Oh,
look forward to
wonderful.
getting those.
Well,
I've
I'll make
learned a
sure
lot when
everybody
it comes.
go
Pardon
ahead.
me?
Go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
was going to say I've learned a lot when it comes to working with baby boomers because my whole clientele is getting over 50, oh, definitely over 40, but some of them are even over 50.
Right.
And so I've learned the exercises that they like to do, that and that give the changes to their bodies in a positive way without any type of injury. So I'm looking forward to putting those on video and getting them out in a very easy way. It's just going to take me a little time to get it organized, but I'm working on it.
Well, that's so wonderful. I'll look forward to seeing all of your workouts, and I'm going to make sure that everyone has a link in the bottom so they can go over to your website. And thank you so much, Karen. I really
Okay.
appreciate all of your insight.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me.